Hi, I am Mohammad Arafat, Assistant Professor English, Chittagong College, Chattogram. Today, our lesson is about narration or speech. In this lesson, we will learn all about direct and indirect sentences. We will look at converting all the 5 basic kinds of sentences. There are lots of exercises and examples throughout the lesson for you, my dear students, to practice. Make sure to watch all the way to the end, because there are final exercises for you to test your understanding. So, my dear students, let's get started. To begin with a question, what is narration? There may be a number of different answers for this question. For me, the simplest and easiest one is like this. The art of reporting the words of a speaker is called narration. It means when a speaker delivers a speech or tells something, sometimes we reproduce that speech exactly as the speaker has delivered by putting it within an inverted comma, and sometimes we present the speech of the speaker with the exact message but with some modification or changes of words, which is called indirect speech. So, what do you mean by direct and indirect speech? To make it more clear, well, there are 2 ways to report what some other person said or says. For example, yesterday I was talking to one of my students. He said, "We are all following the health instruction of the government to fight the present pandemic." This is a direct speech. We can reproduce the same speech of the speaker with same message but with some modification by maintaining the message but with the change of the words, because after all, words are not so important. What is important? Important is the message. So we can say like this: he said that they were all following the health instruction of the government to fight the present pandemic. This is an indirect speech. However, we have to cross 3 stages to master the rules of narration. The stages are basic ideas, detached sentence narration, and passage narration. Today we will cover the basic ideas. I have already told you, my dear students, today we will discuss all about the basic ideas related to speech. So we will try to have a clear idea about the following grammatical terms related to narration. The terms are like this. Number 1, identification of reporting verb and reported speech. Number 2, identification of the 5 basic sentences and their structure. To know about tense in detail, to know about the different persons of pronoun and their cases like subject, object, and possessive. And finally, in number 5, to know about some adverbial phrases. So, at the beginning, we'll try to become clear about the reporting verb and reported speech. We have already known that there are 2 ways of reporting the speeches of a speaker. The ways are direct and indirect. I have given here 2 examples. First one for a direct speech and second one for an indirect speech. First example, Shumon said to Ria, we are all destined to march towards our death. It is an example of direct speech. Here, the speech of the speaker, we are all destined to march towards our death, is put within an inverted comma. And the second example, Shumon told Ria that they are all destined to march towards their death. Here we have the same message but with some modification of words. Here we have changed said into told. We have added a linker that, and we have changed the pronoun and tenses also. However, it is an example of indirect speech. There are some characteristics of direct sentences. In a direct sentence, we will be able to find an inverted comma, and the direct speech will be put into this inverted comma. And the first letter within the inverted comma is always in capital letter. We can make the point more clear through a diagram. Direct speech. He said, everybody respects an honest man. Here, speaker is he. Reporting verb is said. And the direct speech, I have already told you, my dear students, that direct speech will be always within an inverted comma. Everybody respects an honest man is a direct speech. Here is another example of indirect speech with a diagram. He said that everybody respects an honest man. Here, there is no inverted comma. Instead, inverted comma, we have put a linker that. So this is an example of indirect speech. Here again, the speaker is he. Reporting verb again is said. There is no change. But the new thing is that there is no inverted comma. In the place of inverted comma, I have put a linker. The linker is that, and the speech is same. Second important thing, identification of 5 different sentences and their structures. Assertive sentence. Normally, assertive sentence starts with a subject, then we will find verb, an object or extension, and at the end of the sentence we will find a full stop. Here is an example. We are expecting for a better world. The sentence has started with we. There is an auxiliary verb are, expecting main verb, and the extension. At the end of the sentence there is a full stop. Interrogative sentence. It is very easy to identify an interrogative sentence because at the end of the interrogative sentence there will be an interrogative sign. There will be a note of interrogation. Here is an example. Aren't you following the command of your leader? The interrogative sentence has started with auxiliary verb aren't. Sometimes an interrogative sentence can also start with WH interrogative pronoun like who, which, when, where, how, etc. However, whatever it may be, you will always be able to find a note of interrogation at the end of the sentence. Imperative sentence. Normally, imperative sentence starts with let, main verb, never, do not, etc. Here is an example of imperative sentence. Never give up your hope. The sentence started with never. However, optative sentence. Normally, optative sentence starts with may or long. It's not compulsory that optative sentence will always be started with may or long. If any sentence that expresses some kind of prayer or hope, that may be termed as optative sentence. However, here is an example of optative sentence. Long live our country. It's an optative sentence. However, exclamatory sentence. Normally, in an exclamatory sentence, in the beginning, after a word, or at the end of the sentence, you will be able to find out the note of exclamation. This is very easy to identify an exclamatory sentence. Here is an example of an exclamatory sentence. What a pathetic time we are passing through. Now, another important thing, change of reporting verbs and adding linkers. If you be able to recognize that the speech within the inverted comma is in an assertive sentence, then you have to change the reporting verb said into said or told, and in the place of comma, inverted comma, you have to put a linker, and the linker is that. If you find the reported speech in an interrogative sentence, then you'll change the reporting verb said into asked, and as a linker you will use if or WH. I have already told you about WH. Imperative sentence, you will turn the reporting verb said to told or requested or ordered or suggested according to the meaning of the sentence, and the linker will be to. In an optative sentence, the reporting verb said will be converted into wished or prayed, and the linker will be that. In an exclamatory sentence, the reporting verb said will be converted or changed to exclaimed, and the linker will be that. Now, it's very important to know about the change of tense. If the reported speech is in present tense, then it will turn into past tense. If the first verb of a sentence is in present form, then we have to convert it to past form. Present indefinite will be converted into past indefinite. I learned my lesson properly. Here, the first verb learn, you have no need to change all the verbs. You will change only the first verb of a sentence. So the first verb is learn. You will convert the learn into learned. Then the change of tense is done. Present continuous will be converted into past continuous. I'm learning my lesson will be changed into I was learning my lesson. You have only changed am into was. Am is the present form of be verb and was is the past form of be verb. Present perfect will be converted into past perfect. We know in a present perfect tense there will be an auxiliary verb, have or has. We have to change or convert have or has into had. In the matter of modal auxiliary, if the modal auxiliaries are in present form, we'll turn those present form of modal auxiliary into past form. Like shall will be should or would, will be would, can will be converted into could, may will be might, have to will be had to, etc. Here's an example. I'll try my best to cope with the situation will be converted into I would try my best to cope with the situation. But if the modal auxiliary is in past form, then you have no need to change the tense of the modal auxiliary verb. I could play a very important role in this fight. Here I have put the same sentence as an indirect speech. He could play a very important role in this fight. The same sentence. There is no change of the tense. More about change of tense. If the tense of the reported speech is in past, then it will be past perfect. We know the structure of a past perfect tense. After subject there will be a had and past participle of verb. If the first verb of the sentence is in past form, then we will have to put had after the subject and verb in past participle form. Past indefinite will be past perfect. I learned my lesson. Here the first verb learned is in past form, so it is and past indefinite tense. I'll turn it into past perfect tense. I had learned my lesson. Past continuous in the place of past continuous, we will convert was or were into had been, and other verb and other whole sentence will remain same. I was learning my lesson. Here was will convert it into had been, and other verbs and other words will be same. I was learning my lesson will be I had been learning my lesson. Past perfect normally remain past perfect. Normally we do not change the tense of the past perfect and past perfect continuous tense. I had learned my lesson will be I had learned my lesson. Now it's about pronouns and their persons and cases. We know there are three persons of pronoun. They are first person, second person, and third person. The first person and second person and third persons can be in different cases. The cases are subject, object, and possessive. If we find I or we, then the pronouns are in first person and subjective case. You is a second person in subjective case. He, she, it, they are third person, and they are also in subjective case. Object, me and us are the two objects of first person. You is the object of second person. Him, her, it, them are the examples of objects of third person. Then possessive, my and our are the examples of first person possessive. Your is the second person possessive. His, her, its, their are the third person possessives. However, normally if we find a first person in the reported speech, then we change the first person pronoun and we will put the speaker of the sentence in the place of first person pronoun. If the speaker is a male, we will put he or she, he or him or her according to the case. If we find a second person in the reported speech, then we'll replace the listener of the sentence in the place of second person. And if we find any third person in a reported speech, normally third person doesn't change and remains same. Here are some adverbial phrase which we have to change. If we find a now in a reported speech, then we will convert now into then. If we find here, here will be converted into there. If we find this, this will be converted into that. If we find this, this will be converted into those. If we find ago, ago will be converted into before. Today will be converted into that day. Yesterday will be converted into the previous day. Tomorrow will be converted into the following day or the next day. I have given you a key structure. You can change any kind of sentences. You can convert direct speech to indirect by following this single structure. In every sector, you have to put the speaker at the beginning of the indirect speech. Then you have to put the reporting verb according to the sentence: assertive, interrogative, imperative, exclamatory, optative. And then if the listener is available, then you have to put a linker. I have already told you about linker. And then you have to put the subject. In the matter of imperative sentence, you will not be able to find out a subject. Then you will put the main verb after the linker in imperative sentence. However, here are 5 examples. I'll try to make narration clearer through these examples. First example, he said, "It will be very cold there." Here, according to the key structure, speaker is he, the reported speech is direct, and it is in assertive sentence, so we'll keep the said reporting verb said. Then you have to put a linker. I have already told you that if the reported speech is in assertive sentence, then you have to put that as a linker. So I have put that, and then after the linker you will always put the subject. Subject is it, and the first verb will turn into past. Will turn into past. The past form of will is would, and the rest of the sentence is same. Be very cold there. Second example, Asif said to you, "Are you going to attend the class?" The speech is in an interrogative sentence, so we'll turn said into asked. Then we will put the listener. We will put a linker. Here the interrogative sentence has started with an auxiliary verb, so we'll put if. If the interrogative sentence would start with an interrogative pronoun like who, which, when, where, then we will not put if. We will put that interrogative pronoun as a linker. However, after the linker there will be a subject. R is not the subject of this sentence, you is the subject. So I have already told you that second person will replaced with the listener. Here the listener is you, so the second person and the listener is also second person, so we have no need to change. So here you have put the same subject you, and R is in present form. We'll turn it into past form. The past form of R is where. The rest of the sentence is same. Going to attend the class. One thing that we have to keep in our mind, one thing that is very important, that we will not put note of interrogation or note of exclamation after the sentence. In an indirect speech, we will always put a full stop. However, third example, the man said to me, "Do as I tell you." Here, "do as I tell you" is an imperative sentence because the sentence has started with the main verb do. So I have already told you the speaker will be saying the man said to, will convert it into told, ordered, requested according to the meaning of the sentence. We'll put the listener, and then the linker will be to. And I've already told you, my dear students, that in an imperative sentence you will not be able to find out the subject, so you will put the main verb after the linker. So after to you will put do, and the rest of the sentence as I is a first person will be replaced with the speaker. The speaker is the man. The pronoun of the man is he. So we have put he over here, and the next portion of the sentence, if you find any other verbs, you will change according to rules. Tell is in present form, so I have replaced told in the place of tell. You is a second person again. Second person always changes with the listener. Listener is me. You is in objective case. Me is also in objective case, so we'll put me over here. Example 4, my father said to me, "May you prosper in life." It is an optative sentence. We'll put the speaker, my father. In the place of said to, we'll put wished, and wished is an intransitive verb, so we'll not be able to put the object after wished. So we'll put the linker directly after wished. Then the linker of optative sentence is that, and I have already told you that after linker you will always put the subject. The subject is not may, subject is you. You second person always change with the listener. Listener is me, but me is objective case, but you is here in subjective case, so we'll convert me into subject. The subject of me is I. Now tense, may is in present tense. Present form, you'll turn it into past form might, and the rest of the sentence same. Here example number 5, Farina said to me, "How beautiful the baby is." It is an example of exclamatory sentence. Farin as a speaker. Said to will be converted into exclaimed, and exclaimed is also an intransitive verb, so you will not be able to put an object after exclaimed. You will put the linker directly. The linker is that. After that, I have already told you that you will always put the subject. The subject is not how, not beautiful. The baby is the subject of this sentence, so you'll put the baby over here. The baby is in third person, so third person will not be changed. Third person will remain same, the baby. Now the verb is in present form. We'll turn it into past form, was. And then how or what will be turned into great or very. I have put here very, and the beautiful will remain beautiful. So the converted sentence is like this. Farin exclaimed that the baby was very beautiful. I have given here some more examples for you, my dear students. I hope that you will try to convert all these sentences. These are the examples of assertive, interrogative, imperative sentences. So you will try to convert this sentence into indirect at home. Thank you, my dear students. Thank you very much. I hope that you will attend the next classes. In my next class I will talk in detail about passage narration, and that class is much more important. So I hope that you will attend that class also. My dear students, stay home, stay safe.